Mr. Copa Show. Hey, everybody. This is Paris. How's it going? Welcome to my show. It is November. Oh, November, not yet. It's October the 29th. So it's only a few days away from Election Day. So it is Thursday. And a lot of stuff going on in the world today, but I thought I'd take a little bit different direction. Just for the fun of it today, I will have a guest on a little bit. And hello, Mr. Delgado. Hello, Darlene. Hello, Carolina. How is everybody doing? And Shannon. So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about what's happening to freedom of speech and why this election is very important. It's important because we've got one side that wants to give us our freedom of speech. And you have another side that literally wants to take the rights of conservatives away. You know, the tolerant crowd are very tolerant of other opinions that aren't their own. And it's getting to the point where it's almost comical because, you know, over the years we've seen like an Ann Coulter or Ben Shapiro or someone like that would go to a university to give a speech, and then the left wingers would go crazy, knocking down trash cans and rioting, and then going in the room, yelling at the top of their lungs so nobody could get a word in edgewise. They're basically trying to silence the other side. And then you have situations like most recently, the New York Post, one of the oldest publications in the country. I think they're over 300 years old. Not 300. Well, yeah, almost, or 250, whatever. Anyway, it was started by Alexander Hamilton, for crying out loud. They were banned from Twitter. There was an article that didn't meet their community standards because it was hacked information. Okay. First of all, they didn't seem to care much about Donald Trump's hacked taxes. They aired that all right, but then they didn't have they had what they called hacked information, but by definition, the computer shop that had Joe Biden's son's computer was actually, there we go, 284 years. Yes, the New York Post is 284 years old. But anyway, this computer was hacked, and well, not hacked, but Joe Biden left it there. And after 90 days, in the contract that he signed, after 90 days, it becomes the property of the computer store. And the computer store got the information off of that. That's not hacking. That's actually taking information out of their own computer at that point. And they shared it, and et cetera, et cetera. And then Twitter ended up having to renege on it. And it was just, they were brought up in front of Congress, and it just, freedom of speech is under attack. And the other day I covered a statement by former Clinton cabinet member Robert Reich. I think it was like Secretary of Commerce or something, Treasury or something like that. I don't remember. It's been so long, I really don't care. He's only like 4 feet tall too. It's kind of fun. But so he said to station, when the nightmare is over, we need a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. A Truth and Reconciliation Commission. They're going to round people up because it would erase Trump's lies and comfort those who have been harmed by his hatefulness and name every official, politician, executive, media mogul whose greed and cowardice enabled this catastrophe. Seriously. This is not just another election. We're at a tipping point. We're at a crossroads. And we're already getting to the point. You hear about stories of the old Soviet Union or even in Nazi Germany and all that stuff. Oh, I said the N word because, now I'm probably going to get banned. But you had situations where friends, family would report other friends and family because they're helping Jews or something like that, or speaking up against the state. And these people were rounded up and taken to re-education camps. So it's already starting. We already see it with the mask Nazis. They're running outside. A kid's having a birthday party in his backyard. The neighbor calls the police, and the police have to break up the party and end up arresting the mom and stuff like that. But that's happening. And now you're hearing about people losing their jobs because of exercising their right to free speech. And not even a job on work time, mind you, which I would have an issue someone being political on work time. You know, you're not supposed to be, and unless your job is political. So I get that, but people getting fired from jobs, outed, they get doxxed. And about, what was that? About January, a young lady here in Wisconsin was fired from her job because she had pro-Trump Facebook posts that were supporting the president. 35-year Robin Pollock, I hope I got that right, of South Milwaukee, posted an article from a conservative Daily Wire website praising Trump on Facebook Monday. This was back in January, along with the caption saying, extremely lucky Americans were to have such an amazing commander-in-chief. I don't care what anyone says. Pollock, who works as a dental assistant. A day later, she attended the Trump rally in Milwaukee and wrote MAGA 2020 again, showing her allegiance to Trump, et cetera, et cetera. And then it motivated someone to post a negative review about her employer's on her employer's Facebook page about her, saying that workers at Precision Dental Milwaukee should not be spouting racist comments on Facebook because MAGA is racist, according to them. Well, without further ado, or maybe a little bit of ado, I don't know, ado. She's been anxiously awaiting in the green room in the back, and she can't say anything. And I promised that I would only make her blush a little bit. So I'm going to embarrass her, and we're going to have some fun today, but let's bring Robin Pollock on. Pollock?
No, you are so bad at that. Pollock.
See, I can pronounce my mother's maiden name, which is Papakiriazis, but I can't do Pollock. Okay. So,
hi guys.
Well, welcome to the show.
Long time no see.
Long time. Yeah, I know. I haven't seen you in forever. I saw you actually a few nights ago, and she's been, well, a few nights, like a week ago now, but she's been really chomping at the bit to get on my show. And
no, you asked me to go on your show.
I know. Although you stood me up on Sunday, but that's all right. So, you know, yeah, because you were tired.
Hey, it was the Trump rally. I can't help it. We had such a great time. I was there early and stuff. You didn't get to make it, unfortunately, but it was a great time.
I know. Well, I was at the one the week before, so I was the one in
I was there with you.
That's right. You were there. You're just a Trump groupie, aren't you?
I know. I might go actually tomorrow to Green Bay also, but we'll see. But I heard Biden's coming in town, so maybe we have to blow up the airport and be like, "Make America."
How about rephrasing that?
Not like that. Okay.
Rephrase that. Meaning they will go there and protest Biden.
We're going to do a peaceful protest. We're not going to go looting and rioting throughout the city.
Yeah, this is my show. You got to be, this is public. You got to be careful what people are how you say things.
My bad. We want to go and say hi to Biden.
Yeah.
and wish him luck in his basement.
Shannon's saying not the only thing that's under attack. Our whole way of life, our freedoms are under attack. But right, I agree with you.
Yes.
But I needed to segue into my conversation with Robin, so that's why I did that. Oh, my voice is slipping. Puberty, finally. But but anyway, tell us. I we'll get serious here for a little while. So you were working as a dental assistant, dental hygienist. What were you? What were you doing?
Started that job back in October and whatnot. It was a smaller little practice. I looked at, hi, Robin. Hey. But no, I started there, and then I guess you could say life happened, whatever, around Christmas time. And then I took a little bit of time off, came back to work, and was in work and whatnot, and everything was normal. The dentist was on maternity leave, so there was nothing going on, obviously, in the office. So that night I came home, and I did state that when I was leaving the office and whatnot, that I was going to be going to the Trump rally that next day on January 14th. Came home, had a glass of wine, was relaxing, vegging out, reading, the news and whatnot. Oh my gosh. And I just read people saying, oh my gosh, don't these people have a life? Because there were people camping out, which I'll just show up late and sit in the grandstands like I always are, in the way far back in the nosebleeds. But they were like chopping my head off pretty much. And there was this one guy, he just kept going on and on. And I don't know. I just kind of let it be, went to bed, got ready, and the next morning take my son to go to speech class. And as I'm driving to speech class with my little one, he's 4 now, I got a phone call from them, and they were like, hey, unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go. We can't be getting bad reviews on our Facebook page. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, what bad reviews? I didn't get it at first. And then I went on their Facebook page and I looked, and so one of the people that was commenting and spewing things at me the night before went on their Facebook page, found where I worked, mind you, went on their page, wrote a bad review, and it wasn't even anything to do with me or anything like that, but told them you shouldn't be hiring, racist people. You should be really weeding them out. And I'm like, I didn't even know I was racist. Like, come on. But long story short, I got fired, and I just kind of let it go under the rug for the day. And I was getting ready to go to the Trump rally later that night. And I mentioned something to one of my friends and one of my cousins and whatnot. You guys might know him, Karsten Harris. I'm gonna throw that out. What up? And they were like, "That's not right. That's illegal. They can't be doing that." So, So I went on with my life, and then people started contacting me, and I didn't realize that this was my First Amendment being broken until people were coming to me, because I was just going to be like, well, I guess find another job, so.
Well, when did you realize that you were fired for that reason?
After I read the review on Facebook.
And really, but you didn't really think anything of it, so you moved on? Well,
I didn't know. Honestly, I asked her, why was I being fired? And she goes, well, we can't be getting bad reviews. And I'm like, I didn't understand what she was talking about. I was like, I took off Tuesday purposely to take my son to speech class and then to go to the rally. And then I was going to come back to work on Wednesday the next morning. And she just says to me, she's like, no, we just can't be getting bad reviews on our Facebook page, and we're going to have to let you go. And on their response back to this person that posted that comment, they stated, well, we were taking care of it in-house as we speak. And mind you, we don't back the same beliefs as she does, or that employee, whatever. So.
Well, I mean, they can always say those beliefs are not necessarily the beliefs of this, whatever. They cover themselves legally. But once again, there's nothing illegal about the phrase MAGA. There's nothing illegal about the phrase "Go Donald Trump."
Right.
There's nothing, and quite honestly, nothing racist, because that's just hyperbole from the left saying, "Oh, MAGA means he wants everybody going back to slavery." No, that doesn't mean that. It means going back to a good economy and America being the beacon of hope for the rest of the world and that kind of thing. But
I kind of put 2 and 2 together, and there was only me and 4 or 5 other employees that worked there, and me and one other employee were Republicans. It wasn't really talked about in the office. I never talked really politics at work. And then, well, you're the one that gets fired because we know that you were going to the Trump rally the day before. You said, hey, have a great night. I'll see you on Wednesday after the Trump rally. So I guess I can't do things in my personal life, Well,
exactly. And I think that's, we've gotten to the point where you can separate. I understand if you're on the phone, hello, ABC Dental, Donald Trump rock. How can I help you? It's like, I want to have Donald Trump's children or whatever. But this is I'm showing the article from the New York Post. So I'm not worthy. You're famous.
Oh gosh, it was not even in the New York Post, not even only in the New York Post. I was actually contacted originally by a gentleman here locally from the Journal Sentinel, and then
Who contacted you?
all of us. What was that?
Who contacted you from the Journal Sentinel?
Eric? I can't remember his last name.
Don't know
But
Eric.
then, then all of a sudden, all the news networks started getting wind of everything, and go figure. I got CBS contacting me, and they twisted everything.
Mhm.
And I just was like, yeah, they totally made me look like it was all my fault.
Yeah,
But
CBS does that. I'll tell you about an experience I had with CBS in a bit. But
yeah, so I mean, it was quite interesting, and it actually it went worldwide. It was in Australian news, New Zealand news, South African news, and England and whatnot. I couldn't believe it. People were contacting me left and right, but it was amazing. And my main focus was there is no more freedom of speech. You can't talk without being criticized for something coming out of your mouth wrong. So
without somebody being offended. Yeah. And it's just, and that's the whole thing. I think people are starting to say it because let's be honest. The possibility of the Constitution being amended for anything in the near future, probably in the next couple generations, it's not going to happen. But they can do everything they can to get close to repealing the First Amendment. Yeah. They're going to start declaring things, if they get power, they're going to start declaring things hate speech. You support conservative views. You're anti-taxing the rich. You're hateful. That adversely affects poor people. Whatever. They can declare that as hate speech, and then suddenly you can't say it.
Right.
And then of all things, this guy telling you, he's the neighbor calling your job on you. Like your boss couldn't care less, probably.
Yeah, I had people come to me and they actually looked him up online and come to find out that, he's Antifa, and it was Antifa coming after me.
Who'd have thunk it?
I know, and it was like, I was like, oh wow, I was like, what's Antifa? Because I at that time didn't even know what Antifa was, and then they,
they're Antifa. Not do re mi la ti, but fa. They're just anti-fa. Okay. But she's saying the same guy also ratted out that cardiologist, so did end up leaving his job. There's a cardiologist who was a Trump supporter that came under scrutiny. I think he went to a rally, didn't he? I don't remember.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was up north somewhere, I think. But that's what's happening. They're outing. I've been doxxed before. Years ago when I did the Scott Walker rally, someone called it was a rally in support of Walker during the recall. Someone called my boss. And my boss was like, well, I agree with them. So he didn't think anything of it, but they are trying to get people.
Right.
It's basically intimidation. Look what happened to this woman. It can happen to you too, unless you're straightened up. And that's what it is. It isn't anything really against you. They want to make an example of you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's unfortunate and stuff that this is like how the world is becoming, like I look at my 4-year-old and
oh wow.
What's this 4-year-old going to become? What did he say? A health
system in Janesville is getting complaints about employees that posted pics of themselves at a Janesville Trump rally.
We should have taken selfies with those guys.
I have a feeling I know what this is referring to, and I want to get a little more information on that. I think I might write an article on that. I think Nick, if you happen to know the people, let me know. We'll have a conversation.
Definitely.
But I'll keep them anonymous if I have to. There's like 4 different health systems out in that area. So, just like there's what is that? Is it Wheaton Franciscan or what is Ascension Health? There's Aurora Health. There's Freighter. There's I know people all over the place, but it's just really, really bad that it's coming down to this. So you lost your job. Were you able to recover fairly quickly?
Actually, it took me about a month and a half to get a new job. Then coronavirus happened. I worked 3 days at my new job, loved it there. The people are amazing at that office. And then worked 3 days, and then coronavirus happened. And we were put on furlough for about, oh gosh, almost 3 months it was. And then everybody slowly came back and stuff. And then, yeah, then they liquidated my position. And I luckily got a second job. But then, I started to work for another liberal dentist, I noticed. And going to work, he was very, very spiteful about his opinion about Trump. But if I dare said anything in response, don't say nothing. I was like,
I had a job at a substantial technical company. I'll just leave it at that. And I don't put them on my LinkedIn or anything, so that no one would know who they are. But they, like, you go in the break room and they're talking about, oh, Trump this, Trump that. Oh yeah, we gotta do this. Or if somebody, we gotta ban guns because some kid shot up something, or it was always all this left-wing speech. And I finally had enough. I go, you got to realize that not everybody agrees with you on these things.
No. So what I did recently, and I have really great friends that are also Trump supporters too. They got me a position and whatnot to be helping out with the election and whatnot. So my focus right now is to get Trump back into office. So.
Well, he's still there. You don't have to get it back in, but you want to get him reelected.
Okay, you know what I mean.
So one has to understand the end goal of doxing. It is against the person and their beliefs. They want you to not only be fired, but ruined financially, mentally in your community. And if you take yourself out because of the pressure, they would see this as a bonus. Right. And it's partially true. And they feel the ends justify the means in their case because they're righteous.
Well, I messaged that one guy that wrote that bad review. I messaged him on Facebook and I said, your comment on my workplace Facebook post got me fired. You want to know what his response was in return?
Good.
Mega 2020. That was his response back to me. And I was like, you know what? Done. Block over you. I don't even want to deal with you ever again in my life.
But honestly,
it was crazy.
It's not only the liberals. The liberals are very intolerant, but we've got some on the conservative side that are similar. Because if they're like never Trump for whatever reason, you're not entitled to your own belief. They just think they're better than you are. They're a better conservative than you are. They're pure. I know a couple. It was kind of interesting. His wife was on the Trump bandwagon from the beginning. He was a Ted Cruz guy. Blah 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 blah. And guess what? At the end, Cruz lost, Trump won. He supported Trump. And now he doesn't regret it one bit. Because he all in for Trump. And I know some other people, I know some libertarian friends. I've seen a lot of libertarians crossing over. They're not going to vote for the libertarian. They're going to vote for President Trump because they know what's at stake.
I actually have to say this, I've been canvassing for the last 2-3 weeks and stuff with all the gang and stuff. And you really don't realize how silent majority that everyone is. We are the very silent majority. There is very, very many people that will not put a sign in the yard, but they're always like, you got our vote. He's got our vote. Like, and that's good to hear, but it's like, yeah, but sometimes, we need to, other people are afraid and scared and whatnot. Like I have a friend, he works in an industry where he has a lot of, liberal clients and whatnot. And his job, it's his livelihood, and if he says anything that it could cause anything, it's like he could lose their account immediately. So
yeah. See, I'm not like that. I've got friends that are very liberal. They're friends to this day. We have great discussions and we still part as friends. I mean, because I think friendship transcends ideology. As long as anybody's civil, I don't have an issue with it. But if you're an asshole, I'll take the knife and twist it. But
I've seen you do it.
Oh yeah, I've talked about on my show about a date I had with a liberal. She because I was enabling Trump's misogyny, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then she finally she said, "This date is over." And I said, "But wait, we
No
can
first
continue."
date kiss for you.
Oh no, I said, "Wait, we can
Oh my
continue the
God.
spirited discussion and just imagine the makeup sex." And she was like, "Oh my God, I so offended her." And yeah, that was fun. And the bartender was laughing at me. So I'm glad to see you landed on your feet, and now you get to go to a bunch of Trump rallies, and you get to go to hang out with people,
Like
some strange, like me, like awesome people like me.
Oh yeah.
And then
I honestly have met some pretty amazing people in the last year, not even year, like the last, 10 months, 11 months and stuff. And I've met so many people that are so supportive and positive on me. And, you know, what's my next step? Where am I going next? Yeah, we'll figure it out. You know, it's the journey in life. But
I would say for every door that closes,
what was that?
For every door that closes, another one opens, you know?
Yeah, so I think I'm doing a career change eventually here, but we're going to see where that goes. But me shutting my lips about who I want to be as a person in real life and my First Amendment, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Hey, you remember the Trump rally in Janesville? And I don't know if they were doing it here, but the Trump rally in Janesville, they handed some MAGA masks. They said MAGA on there. So
yeah,
I had my MAGA. I was at Pick and Save, and I was wearing my MAGA mask, and all of a sudden this woman goes, "You need to take that racist thing off." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" She goes, "MAGA, that's racist." And I'm like, "What?" I said, "What makes you say that?" You go, "Well, because it's supporting President Trump, and President Trump is racist." And I was just like, I go, "You know what?" I go, "You're right." So I took it off, and then I said, I got another mask in my pocket, and then I put this one on, and she rolled her eyes at me and just walked away in a huff. I just, don't be an ass. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. But it's like, really? Okay, I'm a racist.
Go away. Yeah. You know, and on my keychain, I have a lanyard on my keychain and it says Trump on it. And people will be like, oh. And yes, I do tell them you met hi, David. A Freeman.
David, you understand that I've been to the East as well, so I didn't just meet one. So
I love David. He's awesome.
Yes, he is.
David's actually being a mentor to me and stuff for maybe my next career change. So we'll see where that heads. But yeah.
David, you never helped me with my career. I'm disappointed. It's because she's cuter than I am, isn't it? Okay. All right.
But anyways, what I was saying and stuff, I have stickers on my car. Yes. Let me go back to my stuff.
I want to talk about how cute you are.
Oh,
now, see, anyway, I told you I'd make you blush. I told you. All right.
Yeah.
Next. Okay, go back.
I put some highlight on my cheeks. But no, I drive around and stuff with Trump stickers on my car. I don't care. I get people honking at me all the time, like, and then I get people like flicking me off, and I'm just like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I just look at them and I'm like, that's it. I just or I blow them kisses.
All right. Well, I want to. I love it. Well, I'm glad you landed on your feet, and I'm expecting good things from you.
I'm expecting to see you Saturday.
Yep, and yeah, I should be there. And then there's
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
I'm not sure. I have so much going on. I don't know when.
I do too. I hear you.
So I'm gonna be letting you go for now. I'm gonna have you back on the show again because I want to talk about some other things. I'm gonna get.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about lots of things. No, I love the fact I'm disappointed that this happened to you, but I think it gave you a voice, and I think you need to capitalize on that.
And you know what? I feel like there's a lot. I'm gonna say this. I have actually another friend. She's a dental assistant. She lives down in the Racine, Kenosha area, whatever.
Is she single?
No, she's married.
Dang.
She's married. But she also was fired for her job for supporting the president. Also, and
I want to talk to her.
Yeah, I should. I'll get a hold of her and I'll get in contact with her. But she was fired from her job also for supporting the president. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that happened to you too? We should join together and join forces.
Yeah, I want you to.
Can't believe it though. So, all right.
It's a weird experience. It's unique. It's different, but you know what? We're gonna get through this, and I hope Tuesday is awesome, and it should be.
Yeah, everybody get out and vote. I've had few people like this last couple days tell me, no, I don't want to vote, and I said, why not? That's your American voice. Like you need to get out and vote.
I always say people, I don't want to vote. It doesn't make a difference. I actually turned into personal side. I said, you know what? Since you really don't care who wins, can you do me a favor?
Right?
Would you please go vote for Trump?
Yeah, and I always say, can you do my son a favor, for his future?
Do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. Don't be a moron. All right. Well, you have an awesome night, and thank you for joining me. And yes, you will definitely be on again. You're a lot of fun. So you're not the shy and quiet type. I like that.
I'll see you around town soon. All right, kiddo?
Oh, you will. Be careful what you wish for. You might get it. All right. I'll talk to you. See, I told you. All right. Bye, Robin. Have an awesome one. Bye. See you later. Bye. All right. So that was Robin. I want to thank her for joining me. It's sad what this world is coming to. Well, I'm going to bring on a guest. He's all the way from the West Coast in the People's Republic of California. And I want to get some insight from him because I'm saying there is a chance that we may see some surprises out west, but who knows? He knows better than I. Maybe it's a pipe dream of mine, and it probably really is, but I think there's always possibilities. So I'm going to welcome somebody. Oh, I even said Paula. I made Paula say OMG. See? I'm awesome. I can make any woman say OMG. Anyway, so I will bring Dave Miller onto the show. Here we go.
Hey,
Miller, how are you?
Hey, greetings from the great state of California.
Great state of California. How's everything going out there? Now, what part of California are you from?
Right now, I'm living in the Palo Alto area, south of San Francisco.
All right, so you get everything. You even get free fertilizer from the sidewalk.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's about 40 miles north of here, but yeah. The stench dissipates by the time it gets down here. So
the winds blow north.
yeah, winds blow out to the ocean by the time it gets here.
So California is obviously the big prize that the Democrats usually get. I mean, they get it all the time. Yeah. 55 electoral votes is probably going to drop down to like 51 after this next census. And all the rest, and then Arizona is going to gain 4.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
But
ridiculous.
What's happening? What do you see on the ground there, and what's your perception about what's happening around the country and everything? And you've got some people in the know, so.
Well, yeah, I'm all over the place. I mean, I've got background in New York State, where I'm originally from. I served with the New York State Republican Party there. I moved out here with my wife so she could take a job out here in California 12 years ago, and we've been out here ever since. And I've kind of gotten in the know about California politics now in those last 12 years, gotten kind of a crash course. And with regards to California politics, I like to think back to a race I was involved in out here. Just to give it context, in 2014, and that was the lieutenant governor's race out here. The lieutenant governor's race out here, the Republican worked his ass off. He was the former chairman of the state Republican Party, worked his butt off out here, worked every single county in the state of California, and managed to push that race to the envelope where he actually was competitive. And kudos to him and kudos to his people, because they worked their asses off, and they managed to get 44 million people out to vote. And
wow,
it was amazing. It was amazing.
How many votes did the Democrats get that cycle?
I believe they got like I believe the Democrat who won it got like 46 or 47 million. So whatever. Or half of that, I should say. They managed to get an overall vote count of like 44 million. And the Republican got like 20, and the Democrat got like 22 or 24, something like that.
Oh, so it was close. All right.
So it was a lot closer than previously first thought. and I think back to my own assembly race out here in California in the Bay Area in 2016, and I live right here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I got 63,000 votes. So it's not impossible. If you pitch the right message without mentioning the fact that you're constantly a Republican and you just have better ideas and better policy, you're going to win Democratic votes. And that's the key to this whole race this year, is just having a better policy platform. That's it. And as for California, I know the rumors going rampant that California might turn red this year. And I would like to believe that. I truly would. But I don't see it happening. I see swings happening in places like Minnesota, Nevada, New Mexico, even. Mexico.
I used to live there. Yeah,
you're a New Mexico guy, and even Arizona is staying red. I mean, McSally's been given a hell of a fight, but that's only because she's up against an astronaut, for Christ's sake. Who's going to lose? Really, when you think about it, the guy's a fighter jock. Yeah,
he's a hero.
But then so is Martha McSally when you think about it. But
she's a fighter pilot, but she's a lousy Senate candidate, though.
She is.
It's sad.
She's rough around the edges, and she's very. I watched the Senate debate on the Arizona PBS channel, and was really disappointed with her performance, even though she gave him a run for his money, because she was so aggressive. She was overly aggressive for a female, and that's what I specialize in, is working with female candidates for Congress and stuff like that. And you had one of your guests on a couple of weeks ago was Amy Fan West, who I recruited for that congressional district. So she's going to run again in 2 years, and we're excited about that. And she's got a hell of a story. And but Martha McSally, yeah, she's just rough around the edges, and it's not the position you want a woman on stage in a debate setting to see take, And but there's a lot of other states where I think the president and his coattails are going to be very competitive, I think.
Okay. Well, I hope so. Well, do you think we'll pick up any more congressional seats in Kelly? Because we got the Garcia seat.
Yes, we will. We'll pick up Aja Smith down in Riverside County, a friend of mine who's running for Congress for the second time around. So this will, she's got name recognition down there in Riverside County, and I believe she will pick up that district. I believe Michelle Steele in Orange County will win. I believe who else? Daryl Issa, of course, will hang on to that San Diego seat that Duncan Hunter vacated last year due to the scandal that he was involved in. What else? Is there any others? There might be one other up in the Big Bear region of California, up in the I don't know, Palm Springs. Aaron Cruz. Aaron Cruz is another one. Aaron Cruz is another one who might win.
So we could pick up 4 to 5 seats there.
We could. I'm saying conservatively, we could pick up 2 to 3.
2 to 3. Okay.
Yeah, 2 to 3. Then which is great for California, which is a great showing, I think.
Yeah, we've got one in Wisconsin that could be a possible pickup.
Yeah.
Provided we hang on to the other ones. Right, it was a district. It's a district, the 3rd congressional district out in western Wisconsin.
Is that Sensenbrenner seat?
No. Sensenbrenner seat is. I think it's pretty safe.
Is it safe?
But now Sensenbrenner typically would win with like 68% of the vote.
Oh yeah.
But he's also got 40 years of name recognition and all that stuff. Right. Scott Fitzgerald, he's actually the majority leader in the state Senate. He's got some people that don't like him very much and whatever, but I think, I think ultimately he'll win, but I think it'll be like 52-53% at best. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a 60%.
It'll be tight. Yeah.
Yeah. Part of it is just because Sensenbrenner was, he is an enigma. He's been here for so long.
Right.
Too long.
Right. Yeah, right now out here in California, the big push is the recall effort. I know that you were strongly against the Tony Evers recall effort in Wisconsin, but out here they recall the governor like they changed their underwear. I mean, if the wind's blowing in the wrong direction, you blame it on the governor. I mean, really, that's really what it amounts to. And really, that oxymoron isn't that far off. If the wind's blowing in the wrong direction, there's going to be a wildfire that you can blame on the governor. So
you guys did recall one governor.
Yes, we did. For something far less egregious, by the way. Yes.
Oh wow. Yeah. Wisconsin's got a different electorate, and I think in a lot of reasons, when Scott Walker was being recalled, he won with like 56% of the vote, 55, 56%, which is huge for Wisconsin. Wisconsin's usually 50-50.
Yeah, it's
51, 49.
Yeah.
And the Democrat Party never really fully recovered from that. It took them like 8 years to recover, and they were able to pick up the governor's seat.
Yeah.
Partially because a lot of people soured on Walker too, even on the conservative side, but because he didn't really do anything after he ran for president. It's like, okay, hello, Wisconsin's still here, but
yeah. I was actually quite shocked Trump didn't make him labor secretary just to piss the Democrats off. I really was.
Yeah, that would have been fun. And then he could have had what's her name, Sykes for Supreme Court, because Charlie Sykes that's his ex-wife. Jab Charlie Sykes. But that's all right. So we've got some fun ahead of us in a couple of days. I think I like the odds. I think the Electoral College is in decent shape, but I think because Biden actually has the bigger burden because he has to pick up a lot of states to get to 270.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was just talking about this tonight on Facebook, actually. And I asked all my readers to with their own eyes look at the data from the early primaries. Biden skipped Iowa. He completely skipped it. He didn't even show up for Iowa. He didn't even campaign in the state of Iowa for the caucuses. He went to New Hampshire. He limped into New Hampshire and placed 7th or 8th in New Hampshire with 8.4% of the vote in the New Hampshire primary. He finished behind Mayor Pete Buttigieg, okay? He finished behind Elizabeth Warren. He finished behind Bernie Sanders. He finished behind Amy Klobuchar, for Christ's sake. And he limped into South Carolina on fumes, sucking oxygen. And then Jim Clyburn's endorsement came along. And you look at the map from the state of South Carolina primary in 2020, the presidential primary, and Biden took every county in the state because of that endorsement. Clyburn carries just that much weight. And if anybody is owed a debt of gratitude to Joe Biden, it's Jim Clyburn. Because Jim Clyburn carried him across the finish line, literally. He'd have been dead man walking after South Carolina had he not given his endorsement, or had he endorsed Bernie Sanders or somebody like that. Bernie got 37% of the votes in New Hampshire 3 days before.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's just enormous.
And that's what people don't realize.
They don't realize it.
For 2 election cycles, we had a very outspoken socialist within a heartbeat of the nomination of the Democrat Party. Exactly. And ultimately within reach of the White House.
Democrats. And it terrifies the Democrats because they don't know what to think either. They don't know how to handle it.
And then he picks Kamala Harris, who caters to that wing of the party.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother chapter. But
you got somebody who didn't even get traction. She didn't even get a single vote in the primaries.
Yeah. Even get 1%. Was out before Iowa. She was out before Iowa. And if anybody remembers her initial rally in Oakland, she had 600,000 people at that rally, or something like that. Something to that effect.
600,000?
No, maybe 60,000. 60,000 at that event.
Yeah.
She had 60,000. I drop a zero. She had 60,000 at that event, and you'd have thought she was the heir apparent to the Democratic Party nomination, and it was all because she was Obama's, toy, if you want to call it anything else. I mean, Obama loves the shit out of her, and I swear he'd leave Michelle for her in a second if he could, but that's a whole nother story. But but now she's the heir apparent to the 2024 nomination, should it appear, win
Which
or
is-
lose.
Yeah, which is frightening because she is such a condescending little,
Oh yes, yes.
and people say, oh, it's because a woman, she's a woman, you don't like her. I was think, are you kidding? I want Kristi Noem to run for president in 2024. I like women.
I definitely like Kristi Noem on the ticket. Definitely somewhere on the ticket, or even Nikki Haley if they can get her back involved in politics somehow, whether it be an ambassadorship or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, she's got to make up for lost ground because I kind of.
She does. She went to the private sector and lost a lot of credibility. She should have stayed involved in policy.
Well, with the whole BLM thing too, she immediately bought it hook, line, and sinker, and she made a statement. And it's like, come on, Nikki, you don't have all the facts yet. And it turns out we had all the facts, and the facts were not what they thought it was.
What they thought it was. Yeah, exactly. But
so, and here's a question for you. Okay, Donald Trump, win or lose, this is his last election.
Oh yeah.
Who's next?
You know what? I get asked that a lot. And my gut tells me, and a little inside baseball tells me, that you might see Kevin McCarthy make a run in 2024. But but based on Mike Pence's performance in the vice presidential debate last week or 2 weeks ago, you're going to see Mike Pence make a strong move for wrapping up delegates early, precinct captains early in New Hampshire and Iowa, and trying to lock those down early for himself.
Yeah, he kind of won me over, not completely, but he got me looking at him because I was like, nah, I don't want Pence. You know, I just
and I wasn't a big fan of him either because frankly I thought he was too quiet and not policy driven enough. But I think it's possible that a former governor from Iowa and a former vice president could be our party's nominee for president. Certainly, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I like Kevin McCarthy. There was some talk, there was some speculation a while back that Mike Pence wasn't going to finish out his second term should he get reelected, and that the President Trump would nominate him as his vice president. I don't know if Congress would, the appropriate committees would approve that or not, or I don't even know how that works, frankly, to tell you the truth. I've got my Constitution right here, and to tell you the truth, I don't know how that works. I mean, I should be able to remember back to Gerald R. Ford, but I can't remember how that worked. When
I think he just resigns and it's an automatic where they take the oath of office, and
it's just an appointment, right? It's just a presidential appointment, like any other cabinet.
Yeah, the president will appoint a vice president. They have to be approved by the Senate.
Yeah, advise and consent, right? Yeah.
And it's a simple majority.
Yeah, and it depends on, and again, elections have consequences. If the Republicans can keep the House, then they can run the table for the next 4 years. Because I don't expect they'll lose the Senate. I really don't.
Yeah, and I wonder what Hillary's doing behind the scenes.
Oh, she's doing all she can. She's probably keyboard worrying it a lot on Twitter. I mean, her Twitter feed will never get canceled.
This has got to be eating her up inside, knowing that there's a possibility that another woman will be the first vice president, not her.
You know it.
And that but then again, there's all talk that Biden won't last his first month in office before Kamala takes over. And who do you think the VP is going to be? Yeah,
exactly. And that's what voters are just not cognizant of is what they're doing. I mean, they're stepping into a voting booth, or in my case, you're sitting here at your desk and you're filling out your ballot and walking it over to the white box outside the local library and filing it into the white box. But, you fill out this ballot and you're checking Joe Biden for president and Kamala Harris for vice president. But you think this guy's going to make 4 years? Honestly, no, I don't. I think he'll make 100 days and that's about it. And he'll step aside. Then he'll sign a memo for the 25th Amendment and totally recuse himself, and totally walk away from the scene. But I mean, he didn't deserve to be there anyway in the first place. Like I said, the Clyburn endorsement in South Carolina is what pushed him over the edge. It was huge.
Yep. Well, yeah, Mary's saying Pence brought in to Christian and sealed it with evangelicals. Yes, I agree with
Yes.
that. But now Trump can stand alone with that now because he's proven. I mean, he's consistently fighting for conservative things, and the guy's not an ideologue, and he's done more than the real perfect conservatives out there.
Yeah, he has. And he's also maintained a pretty unified minority right now in the House of Representatives. And should he get the speaker, should he get the gavel this January, which I fully anticipate he will be a formidable candidate in coming elections, whether it be 2024 or 2028 down the road, whatever you're envisioning. Yeah, I could see a lot of scenarios. There's a lot of candidates I would love to see run for president on the Republican side. Tim Scott.
I don't know if Jesus will run.
Tim Scott. I know. I like Tim Scott a lot. I like John Thune from South Dakota, but Kristi Noem kind of squeezes him out because because Kristi Noem's getting all the attention and John's not, and John's got those JFK looks about him, and just he's the whip, he's the Senate Majority Whip. He's a very important guy in the Senate, and I've always been a fan of John Thune, and several others, but way too many to count. I'm sure your readers, your listeners probably have a whole list of people they would just love to see run. But I personally don't. I've got my favorites. Right now I'm working on I'm not even thinking about 2020 because I'm home recovering, as you know, but from a hip surgery. But I'm working on 2022 already, and we're already working on Senator Kamala Harris's re-election campaign. Not working on it, but working against it. And right. We literally have a data file of every free piece of Oppo research that we've been able to uncover in the last 6 months that has surfaced, whether it's a meme or actual data on voting records or whatnot. And we're building a file for the candidate who's going to take him out or going to take her on. And we're looking forward to that race, because I don't think Kamala's got support here in California. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, I hope not. I hope she's going to have hard.
And that was primarily my point about Kamala Harris in the first place. Was I was shocked Biden capitulated to the black vote by demanding that they pick a woman of color for the vice presidency, because now you look at it and California, is probably going to stay Democrat, going to stay blue. But what Biden really needs is Amy Klobuchar in Minnesota, because now Minnesota's on the cusp of flipping Republican, and you need Amy to shore that up. Now you don't have her. You have her as a senator, and she's going to do great for you, campaigning for Joe Biden, but not much else. Not much else.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Minnesota flipping would be a dream. I mean, we got what was within 30,000 votes last time around.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be close.
So I'm wondering, and I keep hoping Omar's seat will flip. I think she's going to keep her seat, but
she one thing I know a little bit about is my work as a social worker way back when. And I was involved in the Serbian refugee crisis and the Chechen the Chechen genocide crisis of 1995. And one thing I can tell you is that Democrats who were in power in the Clinton administration put these people into these zones. They called them congressional districts, and they put them all right there in one little spot. And they said, now you'll vote Democrat the rest of your life, and you'll be thankful for it. And that's what they did with the Somalis. The Somalis who managed to escape Somalia was they put them all in downtown or the western Minneapolis suburbs, and it's just going to be a Democratic stronghold in the middle of a Trump state now. It's really like an island unto its own. And I hope it's a Trump state, because that is if it turned, not even Reagan won that.
he won it his first term, but he didn't win it in 1984, right?
In '84, it was the only state he lost because Mondale
Right,
was the
Mondale.
opponent. Yeah,
Yep.
because Walter Mondale was the opponent, and that makes perfect sense. But he took all 49 others, including Hawaii, which I found abysmally incredible that he took 49 states and
Well,
Democrats only took one. But that happens. That's the way the game's played. You know.
yeah. Well, conventional wisdom is saying is saying Nevada.
Yeah.
Now New Mexico.
I love
Maybe
New
an
Mexico's
outlier.
I love New Mexico's chances. I really do. Nobody's talking about it, but it's only like, you tell me, it's only like 3 or 5 electoral votes, but it's still a piece of real estate that Democrats might have overlooked.
Well, and I think
because they've had it for so long.
Yeah, remember Bush almost won it in 2000.
Yeah,
it was like 4,000 votes.
Yeah, it wasn't far off. He wasn't far off. But that whole thing, that whole 2000 race, and I think we've talked about this in the past. That whole 2000 race, that Bush v. Gore would be such a non-story had Al Gore spent 4 minutes in his home state of Tennessee.
Yeah, it'd all be academic if he won his own state.
If he'd won Tennessee, which is his home state as a senator, Bush v. Gore never would have been the case that it was.
Nope.
And it wouldn't have polarized the nation the way it has since.
Mm-hmm. And they were just the same way. Oh, he's not my president. George Bush is not my president.
Yeah. That's where it started. Had Al Gore won his home state that he was senator for 20 years in, Bush v. Gore would never have made it to the Supreme Court.
Well, he was a congressman too for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And
his dad was a senator too.
Yeah, his dad is also a racist.
Yes, as well as I think his dad was up there with Robert Byrd, but Deputy Grand Wizard or something like that. But
yeah,
that's a whole nother issue.
All right. Well, I appreciate you chiming in. I'm going
to be
jumping off. I'm going to definitely have you on again. Today was kind of impromptu.
Yeah.
I wanted to get Robin on. I wanted to get you on, so that worked out good tonight. I'm probably going to be doing some live
election
streaming during election night too.
Oh yeah, I'll look for you on election night for sure. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm hoping
it'll be a late night. It'll be a late night.
Yeah. Well, it looks positive. I think the one that really concerns me right now is Pennsylvania, because it all depends on because they're trying to. The Constitution specifically states, the U.S. Constitution specifically states that the legislature in every state will determine how the votes are counted. It's specific. And for the Supreme Court to step in, that's actually unconstitutional. It's not their role.
It's not their role. It's not their role to decide what the states are supposed to do. That's right.
Yep.
And that's what our new justice is going to tell them too. I mean, she's probably going to write the dissent just to piss off the Democrats.
Yeah, and I even think Roberts will be on board with that one too.
Yeah, he would have to be. He absolutely would have to be. I mean, it's just written in law. It's in stone. And you really want to have a show about electoral math. You really want to get my buddy and yours, Tim Core, on, because he's like he's a wonk when it comes to the electoral math. Okay.
I really want to see what the real chances of California is. It like a 10% chance, or is it like a 30% chance? Because
I would say it's higher. I'd say it's about a 40-60 chance right now. I'm not gonna put my money in the 60 column yet. If we're playing candidate casino with California, I wouldn't put a lot of money on the pass line, if you know what I mean. I would certainly put some money on the pass line for kicks, but just to see how that bet played out. But I wouldn't I wouldn't bet the farm on it, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's the thing I want. I'm seeing something different. People are pissed at Newsom.
He's shooting himself in the foot by keeping Disneyland closed right now. Disneyland is like the only theme park in California that can't open right now. And
when it's a huge cash cow too.
It's enormous. It's enormous for tourism. And now they've got another 14-day lockdown again. They've issued 14-day lockdowns to other states back east, to the East Coast. I've got relatives in California I haven't seen in years because of this, and or back east in New York who I haven't seen in years, and it's because I can't fly. I missed my nephew's wedding last month because I couldn't fly home to the wedding. I couldn't spend 14 days there to delouse.
Yeah, basically. I don't know. Well, it looks like yeah, they're saying Trafalgar is showing that Philadelphia is much better because he has a different polling methodology where he's doing, it's not who are you going to vote for, but who's your neighbor going to vote for.
Yes, and that's a poll you can actually rely on, is Trafalgar, because they're not asking you how you feel, because what they're realizing is that they may tell you, but chances are likely they're not going to tell you how they honestly voted. But if you ask them the polling question, how do you think your neighbor will vote? All they got to do is look out their front window and say, yeah, he's got a Trump sign in his front yard, so I think he's voting Trump. I'm not sure. My neighbor across the street's got 4 Biden signs, and one says "Win one for Ruth."
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, total bleeding heart.
I know, because the Republicans ignored the dying wish clause. I know.
Yes, the dying wish clause.
It just, and I've got to give. I was not a Mitch McConnell fan for years. He and John Boehner could have taken the same car over the cliff. Yeah. And
nobody would have missed him.
And then when Scalia died,
yes,
I was devastated. But then I was like, oh, well, Merrick Garland was not an ideologue, but he definitely was left of center for sure.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, maybe if we wait for Hillary to put one on, it's gonna be much worse. But then he wouldn't even call a vote. He wouldn't even call the hearings or anything like that. I still think he should have had the hearings and just voted him down.
Can you just imagine if Hillary had these 3 votes or had these 3 picks?
These people who wouldn't vote for Trump in 2016 have got to be thanking their lucky stars that those of us who kind of decided to make an adult decision, no matter how difficult it was. And it just, and then once again, there's still some of these people in the Lincoln Project and all that stuff that are, I don't get where they say they're conservatives. They care about the country. It's like, no, you don't. You're willing to give Democrats power.
Yeah. And that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, these people with Trump derangement syndrome, mm-hmm. I ask them, I look them right square in the face and I say, how bad have you really had it in the last 4 years that you feel this way? I wasn't happy when my candidate didn't get elected in 2008 or 2012. I had a scotch. I went to bed. I woke up with a new president. That's how I felt. I dropped it, my God, it's like, how bad is it? How bad is your 401k now compared to 6 years ago, compared to 4 years ago? How bad are the kitchen table issues around your family? Are your family have more money in their bank account right now? Does your family have more disposable income because of a president? Would a president even have any factors related to that?
Wall Street Journal is reporting that the average family will lose $6,500 of annual income under Biden's tax plan.
And they're absolutely right. The Wall Street Journal is a very responsible tabloid. Tabloid. I shouldn't call them that, but a responsible publication. I've got no harp against the Wall Street Journal. I think they're one of the top 2 publications in New York State, actually, right behind the Post. Yeah, and now Twitter's working on a shadow ban program of the Post, so you can't even look at them now. And that's a whole other thing. I mean, I think Twitter. I think the Senate should call for the arrest warrant on Jack Dorsey, but that's just my opinion.
That would be interesting. Get some attention to this whole. It's irresponsible what they're doing. There needs to be a place for discourse instead of Pravda.
I agree.
I mean, that's essentially what they're going to be. Pravda. And those of you who don't know, the old Soviet Union had a newspaper. It was
Called
Pravda. And they printed the news that they were told to print.
The way they saw fit. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no,
exactly.
They the way the party saw fit.
The way the party saw fit. Yes. Yes. But I don't want to hold you up. I know you got a lot of guests on tonight, but let's definitely get together before elections and do an election night thing. I'm all for that.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'll be at some parties, but I'm going to do some live broadcasting. I can bring guests on my devices because I'm a nerd. I know how to do all that. But
and I've started to get my own equipment here, so I'm gonna hopefully be a regular. I got lighting and everything now, so I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You got your NASA shirt on. I love
you and I are both space wonks. I know you love the Mars program and the Dragon program and SpaceX.
Oh
and all
my
that.
God.
I know you love that shit. Yeah.
Well, I grew up, I'm a kid of the 80s and, with the space shuttle and all that stuff. I wanted to be an astronaut. I was going to major in aerospace engineering. I was going to go into military first and then go do that.
Yeah.
And I even wrote a paper and how, like, by 1999, we're going to have the National Aerospace Plane, the one that was a hypersonic jet that can go from New York to Tokyo in like a half an hour.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was a hypersonic, could go like 6,000 miles an hour or something like that. Orbital insertion back then.
I'm surprised you're not working for Richard Branson by now, because he's got something like that going on right now. He's got Virgin Galactic doing something like that.
Yeah, but, I switched from aerospace engineering to mass communication.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, I'm big on the Mars project. I'm excited about the future of space travel in the United States, and as it relates to us getting back to the moon and colonizing. I'm all about that. I think that's just
cool.
I think that's something we as the people can be really proud of. I mean, that intersects party lines, and that's just a national unity thing. And
that's what we missed out on.
Yeah, I was a kid grew up during the Apollo program in the 70s. So in the 60s and 70s. I can remember sitting in my Washington Redskin pajamas on
racist.
I know, right? At 9 p.m. Eastern time, back in New York, at 9 p.m. on July 20th, 1969, watching Neil Armstrong take his first steps on the moon. I could tell you what I was wearing, my Washington Redskin jerseys. It's so funny that we talk about the space, because it's one of those issues that's just a unifying project for the country, and we need to get back into it. We need to get it back into more unifying policy. And once we do, I think the sky's the limit, no pun intended. But
but it is it is fascinating that we went through this historic launch and everything, and we missed out on it because of the stupid stuff with that the media was pushing, the anti-Trump stuff. They were focusing on that and the riots, the stupid, not the protests, the riots, the looting and everything else. That was taking all the news, and here we are making history. Why? Because President Trump had the vision to appoint someone who's going to basically take the government the hell out of the way and let people, commercial businesses, do this. And it was great.
Yeah. And it made it affordable. Yeah.
And Elon Musk, I would love to. I like visionaries, and Trump's one of those. But I like visionaries. I would love if he could run, but he can't run for president because he smokes weed, and he was born in South Africa, I think.
He's having too much fun out here in Southern California with SpaceX, and in Northern California, up the street is the Tesla factory that he runs, and every car in my street has a Tesla in it. Every car or every driveway. I
wouldn't mind one. They're nice cars, but
it's sick. It's crazy. It's everybody owns one. Everybody owns one out here, except for my family and I. But
you don't care about the environment, do you?
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I mean, Biden's comments on the oil industry, that not only affects Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, that affects places like Michigan, where they build internal combustion engines for a living. I mean, it goes far deeper than that. It goes into Pennsylvania, where they're fracking all the time. I mean, they make livings on fracking. Even in New York and to some degree California, where they're still fracking. I mean, even though they say it's against state law, but I think they still drill for oil down here in the Bakersfield region. But
what the frack is going on? Dang it!
What the frack is going on? Yeah. I loved Trump's comment the other night in one of his rallies. I want to say he was in Florida, or not Florida. He was in Pennsylvania, and he looked at the microphone. And he's just like, "You people, just frack to your heart's content."
Did you have you been to any rallies?
I haven't. He hasn't been out. The last time I saw him was the 2016 Republican State Convention out here in San Francisco, and that was the one where he had to park a mile away and jump over some barriers, if you remember, that were caught by a helicopter. He had to jump over some highway barriers with a Secret Service detail, and then walk across the highway to the hotel. And because they couldn't get the motorcade in to the hotel area, because the hotel had hired its own security force to only let registered guests into the hotel. Unfortunately, I was one of those registered guests, and I had my car parked in the garage. But the motorcade for the keynote speaker for lunch that day couldn't get in because I don't know why they couldn't let him in. Why the Secret Service guy in the lead car couldn't just hold up his badge and say, yeah, I got a presidential candidate trying to come through here right now, and they opened the gates, but they didn't. And he had to jump like 3 barriers in a suit, and he still gave a fantastic speech. But that was the last time I saw him. I've had opportunities to go to Carson City and Reno for some events, and I haven't made the road trip up there yet. But a lot of my friends in Nevada have said, "Come on over. We'll have you for the night. You can spend the night." And it's like, I don't know.
Well, you're kind of recovering from hip surgery. Maybe you can have an ID that could get you in. But
exactly.
I'm telling you, from what I saw in 2016, he had a rally here in Milwaukee. It was in Waukesha.
Yeah.
It was about I'd say middle of October, and I was there. I was able to get it as media, which was kind of cool. I got media.
I saw the pass. It's very cool.
Yeah. So I got in there and I watched it, and this is back in 2016.
Yeah.
And it was very energizing. And Tommy Thompson, our former governor, he got up and spoke. Never had Scott Walker coming up and speaking because I really don't think he cared for President Trump, but because even to this day, he's never out there saying Trump's got to win. He's very mediocre on it, which is sad. But
yeah.
And then I went to the rally for the first one. I went to Janesville, Wisconsin 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, for that one. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is absolutely, pardon the pun, but the energy was just contagious.
Janesville, that's Paul Ryan country in Janesville, right?
Yeah. Western part of his district. Well, now it's Jim Stile. And Stile's doing a good job. Stile has found some excitement in his speaking now and that type of thing. He was a whole reason President Trump came down here to Kenosha.
Right.
The governor would not get National Guard, so he calls the White House saying, this is Congressman Stile, I'd like to speak to the president. Hold, please. Someone else said, okay, tell me what's going on. This is Congressman Stile, and I'd like to speak to the president. He was thinking he'd get the secretary or whatever.
Yeah.
How can I help you? He gets on the phone. He's talking to the president.
He's talking to the president.
Yeah, he said, "You're calling me to help your governor?" He goes, "President Trump, can you please call our governor and get National Guard? We need it." Because his district includes Kenosha. Right. And, finally happened. And now Governor Evers is getting some crap from his own party.
Yeah.
Because he dared make President Trump look good, but he did the right thing.
He did the right thing. And you know what?
3 days, but finally did it.
And you know what? Christie did the same thing. I mean, Chris Christie in I don't remember. That was after Superstorm Sandy hit the Jersey Shore. He did the right thing. He put policy ahead of politics and did the right thing by calling in the federal government. I mean, and that photo with Obama, while it was unfortunate, It happens. It happens.
It's you respect the office.
You
if I were
respect
to walk
the office. You respect
if
the
I was
office.
to walk outside and there's Barack Obama standing outside there coming into the neighborhood,
You'd still shake his hand, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I'd
So
say
would I.
hi. Yeah.
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 He was the president. You just respect the office.
You respect the office.
Yep.
You don't have to respect the man, but you got to respect the office. All right, buddy.
All right.
We'll be in
It was
touch
great
soon.
to talk to you. Yep.
All right.
We'll come on, turn California for us.
We'll get together.
Yeah. Get it out there. We need those 55 electoral votes. Come on, you can do it. All right. We lost him. So he's off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. So, well, guys, okay. So yeah, Vegas is betting Trump takes Wisconsin. I hope so, Mary. That's very good by a slim margin. I think he'll win by probably 60, 70,000 votes. I think he'll double his vote totals that he had before in here. Like I said, my one concern would be Pennsylvania, but I hope Trafalgar is right. I think Pennsylvania is more likely than Michigan, but I think Michigan may still tilt our way because there's also a Senate seat there, and the Senate candidate out there, the Republican, is phenomenal. So there's a chance we'll pick up a Senate seat there. There's a chance we'll pick up a Senate seat in Minnesota. There's a chance that I think Lindsey Graham will hang on. I'm predicting we'll get the 54 seats in the Senate after all is said and done. So I'm hoping. So it's it's everything. Yeah, I know. Ian, you're right. The left does hate us. They hate everybody. They hate anybody who cares about free speech and free thinking. You can agree with everything with them on everything, but if you dare think freely on just one thing, they're against you. Never again will a pro-life Democrat win a political office for the Democrat Party. That's how far off the edge they've gone. We still have some pro-choice Republicans out there who win seats. We're the big tent. Well, I don't hate the left, but I do despise them. I don't hate anybody. They're just highly misguided. And there are some people that are directly trying to interfere with everything. They're trying to change our constitution and everything. That's why we got to win. We got to double down on America. And that's why it can't be close. We need a landslide. And I dare say President Trump has to win the popular vote as well. It's important. We did it in 2004 after the whole debacle with Florida in 2000. Al Gore won the popular vote, and George Bush squeaked in with 271 electoral votes and won. Luckily, in 2004, he won the Electoral College, picked up an additional state, I believe, and he also won the popular vote. We need to do this. We can do this. All right, guys. Nice talking to you. I'm working on getting Terrence Williams on my show. Unfortunately, because of his schedule, he might not be able to get on until after the election. So that'll be a fun show to have. He's got a lot of fun things to talk about, not just politics. So a lot of interesting stuff. He's an interesting fella. He's an interesting guy. What do I sound like? I sound like I'm old now. He's a nice fella. Okay. Anyway, everybody have an awesome night. Thank you for joining me. I love the comments and everything. And of course, Hilario gets on and he wants me to have a 2-hour show. Nope, hour 20 minutes tonight. So anyway, good night, everybody. I will talk to you soon. I will be live streaming periodically on election night. So get out there and vote. If you haven't, it's still okay to vote early. Just don't do the mail-in vote. Just go there, vote in person, vote early. Just recognize if you don't understand the process, you are doing an absentee ballot. You're just doing it in person instead of mailing it in. All right, guys. Have an awesome night, awesome week, and rest of the week. And tomorrow's Friday, the last weekend before Election Day. Everything rides on Tuesday. We are at that tipping point. if you guys are watching me, and if somebody out there is never Trump or just not sure or whatever, President Trump has delivered. Just the courts are worth alone are worth the price of admission. But he's done a lot of other things, tax cuts. He's doubling down on American heritage. He's actually listening to Black voices. He's listening to Hispanic voices. He's listening to Asian voices. He's listening to men. He's listening to women. And he's doing things. We need to continue this because, quite frankly, we need to save the nation. And I hope this gives a chance for the Democrats to have some introspection and reflection and realize that their party's gone too far to the left. Just like I wouldn't want our party to go too far to the right. I like a right-leaning type of direction, but I don't want to be far, 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 far to the right. But definitely conservative flow. All right. Good night, everybody. Have an awesome night. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. And I appreciate it. And I'm trying to get off here, but I can't. Okay, there we go. Okay, good night, everybody. Bye.